Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be finalizing the front Skinnies. I know you guys have seen previous videos about this, you know, getting them mounted, testing them on the SS. Well, today we're going to be finalizing the install for the Corvette. So to get these to mount to the SS, here's what we needed. We needed a set of adapters for the SS. And as you guys can see to the right, I'm sorry, the left, you guys can see this skinnier adapter. Well, this adapter is actually going to be specific to my Corvette. So what I did was I took basically the mounting hardware and specs off of a Corvette for the back of it. So it's got a Corvette bore for the hub, and the wheel studs are a 12 millimeter versus the 14 millimeter. 12 by 1.5 versus 14 by 1.5, and I'll just show you a side-by-side shot. You can see the stud difference right there. So I spec these out specifically for the Corvette. I could have maybe taken the other set that I have and had those enlarged to fit the Corvette bore, but honestly guys, I really wanted something hub-centric, and that's what these are. So they are hub-centric in the back specifically for the Corvette. The front, they're hub-centric specifically for the CTSV slash Camaro slash, you know, Chevy SS and the Pontiac G8. So it's got a front wheel hub bore size of the Camaro and all those cars I just listed. Because if you guys look, when you put the adapter in, this thing barely moves. It doesn't move at all. So we're good. I mean, there's no movement on here. Now, if we put the SS specific, so this is specific to an SS slash Camaro size, put that in there. See, it doesn't move either. The bore for the Corvette size is just a little bit bigger. Yeah, see where this has like a V, you know, it's angled, it's notched in the side right here. This whole section has been bored out. And I ordered these adapters from motorsports-tech. And the set that I had ordered for the SS were pretty much a common, like, you know, almost universal size. I just found them on eBay, and actually you can find them on Amazon too. And so that set, you know, is fairly readily available. This size I had to pretty much custom spec. So these were a little expensive. I mean, these ended up being about $45 a piece plus shipping. So, you know, a little bit more expensive than what those ended up being. So I wanted to have a hub-centric and wheel-centric spacer slash adapter for both cars. And like I said, yeah, these are about $45 each. So just over $100 for the set plus shipping. So, you know, you can't complain about that. And the other set was a little bit cheaper. So I've got like a couple hundred in adapters, but, you know, honestly guys, if I ever get rid of these tires and wheels, you know, yeah, I could sell them too. I mean, these adapters, I won't be using them much, and they'll sell. Like, people will want this setup. I'll include the spacer information below, the specs that I ordered, and that way you guys can order your own set. And now that we've gone over the spacer and the specs on that, we'll get the Corvette up in the air and get these mounted. Alright guys, let's get this tire off and we'll try these spares. Got the front wheel off. Nice and heavy. Now that's out of the way, let's go get that front spare. Alright guys, first test is going to be spacer. Make sure it fits over the hub, which hopefully does, because if not, this whole setup ain't going to work. Alright guys, I know you're over on the tripod, but as you can see, it's fitting on the hub with no issue. And there might be an issue with the studs being too long. I'm not entirely sure just yet. And as you guys can see, I have the adapter bolted to the car. It clears the hub, no problem. Yeah, that was one fear that I had. But as you guys can see, the nuts are in, but you might be able to see a little bit of the stud actually sticking out past the spacer. Now the reason we didn't have this problem with the SS spacer is because that was like 1.5 inches thick. This one is only 1 inch thick. Now I've already test mounted the wheel, and as you guys can see, there are these recesses cast into the wheel. So I'm not sure if that was by default just to save some space, save some weight on the wheel, or what, but thankfully our little studs go inside here, and this will allow the wheel to physically bolt on with no issue, at least none that I saw. Alright guys, we got the spacer on there. I didn't fully torque it down by hand. I just used my impact and basically sent it, so it's probably 75 to 100 foot-pounds. I'm not too worried about it. And for today's demonstration, we're just mounting this, so we don't really have to be all careful with the proper torque specs. But when I'm racing, obviously, I'll use a torque wrench and torque everything down. Now, take your lightweight wheel, put it on, and as you guys can see, we're going to fit just fine. So the reason I went with the 12mm studs instead of the 14, yes, the 14 has more strength to it, it's thicker. The reason I didn't do that was because I didn't want to have to carry around a spare set of lug nuts just for the front wheel. I mean, I'm sorry, 2 sets. One set's going to be for the adapter, the second set would have been for the wheel, and I'm just like, that's kind of stupid. So basically I went with the factory size. I just didn't want to carry around another piece of hardware. It just, you kind of might lose track of what you're doing, like, because people might be talking to you when you're unloading your car, or putting your wheels on. And I always get a lot of people walking up to me asking about the car, which, hey, I don't mind, that's cool. But like, if you're in the middle of trying to swap 4 wheels, you could easily get distracted, forget to tighten a spacer, forget to tighten anything like that. So, alright guys, we are good. I was a little concerned about, when I had Discount Tire mount the tires, I actually did have them balance it, so there are weights, but we're a good 1/8 inch between the caliper. Yeah, easily a good 1/8 inch between the caliper and the wheel weights. And if I have to, they're the stick-on ones with just that band. You just take the sticky material off and they'll come right off. So as you guys can see, the new drag radial is bolted up. Front drag radial is bolted up. And yeah, so I think what we're going to do is lower the car down and see if I can get the wheels to turn on the lift. This might not happen. What I mean by that is, put the lift arms all the way down. I don't want to take the car outside just because I still got another few things to work on. But if I can get the wheels to turn on the race ramps, that might just work. For the demonstration that I want to show you guys is that it'll clear any around the fender. Like it should. Nothing really in here to hit, but there's brake ducts and plastic stuff and all that good stuff. But okay, so that's kind of the non-finalized front wheel. Alright guys, so you saw it turn left, you saw it turn to the right, and you know, it fit. I felt around the tire. I didn't feel anything rubbing or getting in the way. There's a little piece of plastic back here, but the tire is way too skinny for it to be hitting that. And we're good with the brake clearance. I think we're pretty much good with this setup, guys. And just to give you an overall shot of what this is going to look like, man, that thing looks awesome. That's going to look pretty badass in the staging lanes. So, it's another thing I wanted to show you was kind of a side profile. If you guys look, I've got from the side of the tire to my hand, I mean, there's probably like 2 inches, almost 2 or 3 inches, yeah, between the tire and my end of my hand. So we're sunk in a good bit. Now the wheel does stick out. It's just the design of the spare. So the wheel does stick out further than the tire, but that's fine. I mean, if we hit this on anything, we're gonna destroy the bumper and fender before we hit the wheel. So just something to be aware of. All right, guys. So there you go. That is the skinny drag tire setup for the Corvette. Well, Corvette and the SS, as we've demonstrated in the other video. I'll have that in the information card above. This wheel combination now fits in the Corvette. So we're gonna take this car drag racing tomorrow. I had no idea that the wheel setup was gonna be done this week. Kept getting shipping delays from M&H. They're the manufacturer of the wheel. I'm sorry, the tire. The wheels I've had for, God, probably had the wheels for like a month, and then the tires were on back order for 6 weeks. Yeah, I ordered the tires, wheels came, and my spacers, man, those things took like a month too. So if the weather holds out, we're gonna go drag racing tomorrow, and that will be the follow-up to this video. But there's one thing I would suggest you guys do. Not sure if you guys can see, but the wheel hub, the wheel bearing and hub is a nice rusty brown color, and it looks like crap. So since I can't run a center cap, I'm gonna have to get out some spray paint and paint that wheel bearing up, because that thing looks horrible. But I have saved myself a step by doing the demonstration of the wheel turn on the lift, or actually on the race ramps, and it just slid on top of the race deck. I don't have to jack the car back up. I can just put the lift back up, swap the tire, put the street tire back on, and we're good to go. Now, one more thing. Racemaster actually told me, do not drive these tires on the street. You'll tear them up. And I can see why, because they're actually really sticky. And even though they're a front runner, they are pretty soft and compound. Don't drive these on the street. That was pretty much his word of advice, and you should get like 3 years out of them. I'm like, all right, cool. And these tires were only 180 bucks per wheel. Now I have some friends that balk at that, but when you guys buy a rear tire for a Corvette and it's over $600, 180 bucks sounds like a freaking deal. Mind you, it's like 1/8 of the size of a rear 20, but you know, it's one little slice of it. But I don't know. I'm okay with that. And if I get 2/10 faster, hey, I'm totally game with that. All right, guys. So I just busted out my bathroom scale, and well, you guys don't need to know what those numbers were. But basically, what I did was I weighed myself, grabbed the wheel plus spacer, weighed myself, wrote down the number. Then weighed myself, grabbed the stock wheel, and subtracted my weight. And here's the weights. So the factory wheel is 52.5 pounds. The skinny and spacer is 36.5 pounds. Subtract 52.5 minus 36.5, and you get 16 pounds. So we're saving 16 pounds for one wheel, so that's times 2, so that's gonna be 32 pounds up front that we've saved weight on. And hey, every little bit helps in drag racing, so it may not be the lightest skinny, but hey, 16, almost 20 pounds lighter per wheel. So just say 40 pounds roughly. And in the back, well, there's not really a skinny for the back. In fact, we're going wider, but so we've pulled, you know, 35 to 40 pounds of weight off the front axle. So that's pretty cool. And we moved the front sway bar, so that's maybe another 10 pounds. So yeah, we may have pulled 50 plus pounds off the front weight of the car. Now, I'm not saying this is gonna be the most scientific measuring system, you know, but I did weigh myself before and after. The weight was the same. So 16 pounds per wheel up front, I'm cool with that. Plus, just look at the shot right here. Look how much skinnier that little like 5-inch wheel, 5-inch wide tire versus that 275. So that's just this is just a shot right there of what the rolling resistance, lower rolling resistance. Plus the other part of this swap is we're actually dropping down a full inch in wheel diameter. So the factory cup wheel is a 19-inch and the spare is an 18-inch. So there you go, guys. You know, we're dropping an inch in height, dropping a lot of width, and we're dropping about 16, 17 pounds per side. Now, I don't know what a set of welds weighs, you know, so that was 36.5 pounds of an aluminum 18-inch spare plus the spacer. I don't know what a weld wheel weighs. I'm sure it's lighter, but for 150 bucks, I know you can't buy a weld for that price. So in my game, that we're ahead. You know, just dropping weight, not spending $500 a wheel, and just for the wheel, not including the tire. Still have to buy tires whether you've got a weld or a factory wheel. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell notification button. That way you guys know when I upload videos. And also, if you want to help support the channel, click the links below. We always got stuff for sale. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.